All right, everybody. So I think I'm just going to cut to the chase here. Our next guests on the show, we got three of them. They're very widely known in the rock and alternative world. They come from groups such as Jane's Addiction and Foo Fighters. These exceptional musicians have started a new group together, and they're about to release a music video for their new single, Devil That You Know, this coming Friday, the 19th, which alongside their other new single, Lazy Eyes, can be found on all your streaming services. Please welcome to the stream Dave Navarro, Taylor Hawkins, and Chris Chaney, NHC. Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's your name, John?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, John.
Nice to meet you, Dave.
I'm Taylor. I'm Chris.
Nice to meet you guys. Thanks for coming to the show today.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure. We're here at Taylor's Rock and Roll Hideaway. This is where we recorded our record, and we rehearse here for performances, and we just happen to be rehearsing, so perfect timing. You got us on a good day. Great timing.
I was going to say, like, I love the, we did a quick sound check earlier, and I love the surroundings that you're in. Taylor, tell me about the studio.
Well, it's a guest house. And when we first moved here, my wife was determined that it was going to remain a guest house. So for the first couple of years, there's a closet in the other room, and I just had a drum set in there. And then, she went away one weekend with her friends, and I just said, fuck this. And I called my friends down at the Foo Fighters studio, and I said, just bring up a PA and some amps. And
my favorite part about the studio is how much Allison hates all the different carpets that are in here. Taylor got this place out with about 50 mismatched carpets that don't go together. Yeah. In your mind would be a total eyesore, but then it really ends up becoming like somewhat of a patchwork quilt on the floor that we can move around on. So it's actually very comforting. It's almost like taking a nice nap on Little House on the Prairie.
Wow. So this whole studio and band, it sounds like, was formed at the behest of Taylor's wife.
Yeah, no, I took it over. Yeah. And the thing that would really make her slightly pissed is that, I have all like rock pictures up everywhere, guitars everywhere, and live photos of interesting times I've been through on stage. Just cool shit everywhere. There's even a picture of her when she smoked cigarettes with a beer in her hand. Good picture.
That's a good picture.
It's a good picture. And
she looks hot in that picture where she's doing all the wrong things.
Exactly. Yeah. She looks like, she's from Virginia, and that's where she's from, Virginia. And so her friends will come over and go, this place is so rad.
Yeah. That's great, man.
Whatever. No,
we don't get visited by Allison very much over here.
She went away that one weekend and she stayed out, it sounds like.
I'm happy that I have it, and because it really has become a place. It's just, I hate that word man cave. It's so typical now. Yeah, it's just, but I mean, fuck, I've made 3 records in here, and one of my favorite records I've ever made, we just made here. Or we sort of just made it.
Also, like, the upside of that is that her husband doesn't leave the house for 10 hours a day going somewhere else to work. Like, he's just here.
I'm super reachable.
Yeah.
As these guys know.
It's that home office vibe, yeah.
We're rehearsing in here right now, and I can hear my daughter and her friend jumping on the trampoline right next to us.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's it's suburban rock and roll living.
Hell yeah. Well, how does it feel for you guys to just get together all the time like this then? Because I know you've been working on music for a little while, but for all you to be in the same place consistently at the same time, how does that feel for all you?
3 dudes that are friends at a high school, and we just decided, let's just get together every once in a while and like jam Rush songs.
Well, but put it this way. Those hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil monkeys? Well, we hear, see, and speak all of the evil.
All of the evils. So everything's off limits, or on limits.
Yeah.
Everything's on limits once you're into these.
It's really magical in here, man.
Walls of idiocracy.
To come in here and just like being in a comfortable environment where there's just like, there's no one's looking at the clock because you're spending a bunch of cash, throwing money out the window, trying to come up with parts. Like, we can just take our time, but we end up working really, really fast. We're really, really comfortable in here. And it's like, I mean, I don't know about for you, but for me, it's like a 45-minute drive here, but it's like, I'd much rather do the drive and work here than go down the street and be in some kind of,
there's windows, there's light, there's a pool in the backyard, there's a hot tub. It's
chill.
Awesome.
Lady Gaga's not in the like next holding tank next to you where her studio's connected, Studio C.
Right.
And that's all interesting and fun stuff. We've all made records that way. But this record is like it's like all of our musical homes, it's like we all just moved into a subdivision together of musical homes because we just play whatever the fuck we want. And so this room represents whatever the fuck I want, which I don't want a lot. I don't drive Porsches. I don't take friends to Vegas on private jets. I buy like Queen 2, the original map ad for it for like $15, and then I go to Mike's or Mark's or whatever the place is where you buy crappy frames. What they call it?
I don't know. I've never bought a crappy frame in my life. I draw the line on frames.
We got a city guy and a suburban guy. They're somewhere in the middle.
Definitely in the middle.
No, but they can come here and it's very high school.
Yeah.
It's the only way that I could describe. It's the perfect, like if I would have had this band and this room when I was in high school, you wouldn't.
You'd be in the biggest band in the world and be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
It has that, like, it's super close to, I don't know, it just brings me back to, like, garage band kind of days where you're just, like, with the guys, and you're just jamming out in a garage, but, you got this tricked out space. It feels very homey, much better than any kind of, like, sterile, sort of, as you mentioned, like, studio space.
Like, we've slept overnight here. There's a guest bedroom here, and we were working here, and I brought a toothbrush, and I was like, okay, we're gonna record for 2 days. It's like that. And then if you need anything, you just walk across to the big house, grab some water. It's like I couldn't
have some chicken fingers with the kids.
Having the kids around too is a really exciting thing because it just brings so much joyful energy.
And you guys also get to watch my wife make fun of me all the time. You guys enjoy that.
Your wife's the best.
Yeah, I think that's your favorite part of the whole thing.
I love Alice.
Watching you get bitch slapped over and
It's the best.
That's a good extra perk. I love that. Is that in the brochure?
I look at that and I'm like, thank God I didn't make that choice.
This motherfucker.
I'm kidding.
It's true.
She's beautiful. The kids are beautiful.
I love I actually find suburban life at my age like a lot of good fodder for songs and
really,
there's like a lot of humor around. I think everyone has that. I just, if you look at life like a silly TV show and all the people you know are the people that are in the show, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's that whole cast of characters, right? Right.
Not me.
No, you know what Francis means?
Oh, see, it's so homey.
Oh, yeah.
Chico,
Hell yeah.
I love you, Francis. I love you. I love you, Dave. I love you, Dave. I love you, Dave.
I love you too, buddy.
Oh, Francis.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Look at that.
So yeah, that's the vibe we're dealing with.
That was almost perfectly scheduled and timed. You were like, "It's so homey here." Oh, look. Oh, that's great. Oh man. Well, you guys talked about knowing each other for so long, right? Since high school. How did you come to know each other as musicians too? After knowing each other forever.
Huh?
I stalked you.
Oh, Taylor stalked me for about 8 years.
Wow.
But actually, I knew. No. In all seriousness, I knew of Taylor from being in Alanis Morissette because when I was in the Chili Peppers, Flea and I recorded "You Ought to Know." So we did that track, and so of course when she started touring, I took notice of her band, saw this guy. I was like, this guy is a motherfucker on the drums. And then,
did you really think that?
I did.
Did you?
Absolutely.
You never said it.
I was saving it for a time like this, where I could tell the world.
It would have made me feel really good had he said that.
But now, how do you feel now that the world is? He doesn't care. And then, I met Chris through Stephen Perkins, because a drummer at Jane's Addiction, because Chris was on tour with Tommy Lee and Stephen Perkins.
Right.
But Chris was also in Atlantis with Taylor. So these guys have been playing together for over 25 years. And so I lucked out. I got to walk into a situation where I have the best rhythm section in the world that have been finely tuned for 25 years. So that gives me lots of wiggle room to just kind of be like scrappy on top of it, because they just hold it all
hardly
down.
Scrappy.
And truthfully, actually, I've now accomplished my goal of doing something musically with each member of Jane's Addiction. I have.
Yeah.
I've done stuff with Perk, I've done stuff with Perry, I've done tons of stuff with Chaney, even recorded with Avery, and now Navarro. I just, so for me, it's just like me getting to it's like you getting to play with,
Don't think for a second that I don't feel the same way, man. I'm playing with my heroes. There's no doubt about it, man. These guys are the best at what they do, hands down. And for me to come into this situation, and I got to tell you, Taylor had to fucking coerce me. Like,
I tried to get Dave out here for a good year.
he's been trying for like 5.
What's the fucking problem?
Wow. Trying to get you out there for 5 years, stalked you for 8. It
felt weird.
Sounds like he's a bit obsessed with you.
Aware of his face. It's like,
wait, he wasn't like parked in front of my house, sleeping, waiting.
Dave,
he wasn't.
Hey, I just happened to be near you.
A bit obsessed with you.
Aware of his face. It's like,
wait, he wasn't like parked in front of my house, sleeping, waiting.
Dave,
he wasn't.
Hey, I just happened to be near you. Let's go have a sandwich.
No, but like I was, I've always been. I was busy with like a TV show and Jane's Addiction and blah blah blah, and it just felt like
silver lining of the pandemic.
Yeah.
If there was any aspect that you could
yes
pull out that was positive.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I didn't want to do it. It was just that I had stuff going on, and God, man, but the timing of the pandemic gave us the opportunity to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
And get together and own what we have here, and my heart breaks for the people who lost loved ones during the pandemic and are still struggling with it, and all of the trauma that it has brought worldwide. But in the same breath, had it not been for that, we probably wouldn't have this record either. So we decided to, instead of crumble as a result of the pandemic and isolate, because it did cause a lot of people to isolate and stay confined in their homes.
And that's on this record, it was obviously for everyone. So this record will always represent
I don't know if I would have made
that
it
sense of paranoia that was just around everywhere.
But I'm just saying, I don't know if I would have made it out of the pandemic without going even more insane. Because of the isolation, because these two have families. I live alone, and like just sitting in my big box alone for a year would have made me fucking crazy. And this gift came along, and we started making music, and I couldn't be happier and more grateful for it.
Yeah. How did you how did you get involved with everything? Sorry, Taylor. Did you say something?
My family already known Chaney, loves Chaney, and now Navarro, my daughters loves him. My wife.
Tell them my nickname.
Precious.
Precious. Precious Dave.
Let me. Can I do an impersonation of Dave?
Yes, please. Absolutely.
Let me see me over here. You see me?
Yeah. Yeah, we see you.
I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep very good. I don't really feel good. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I'm going to go play today. Dave's cool, man. It's cool.
Man.
It's cool. And then my wife said, Precious, you need an egg on toast. Oh, I'm so famished. Yeah,
It's true.
Wow.
And it was egg on toast. And then you hand him a guitar.
Coffee.
You hand him a guitar. No, this one's so not intonated. No, I need mine. Where's mine? Oh.
But there are days.
Coffee.
There are days where I go, Taylor, do you think Allison can make her world famous egg on toast for me? It's her first thing in the morning, and it's like
She loves it.
I don't get home cooked meals. You know what I mean? So it's like
We love Precious. Precious became a big part of our family, and Chaney was right there with us. And this was our sort of sanity box or whatever, because everyone
Precious.
They
I'm
all
so delicate.
Even Aunt Everly. I think Everly.
My kids call me that now.
7-year-old calls. Yeah.
I'm so delicate, like I just
flower.
so many needs.
We had to take care of them this whole fucking time. We love them.
Oh man.
We really did form a fun bond, the three of us, during this, because it was just, we were like everyone else, really isolated and things were crazy. You get on the freeway and people are driving 1,000,000 miles an hour, but nobody's on the 405.
Hey, dude, you have a software update that's ready to go.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh God. He just went on mute, but I guess they're gonna do a software update. Are you guys doing a software update right now?
Don't do the
No, I
software
was
update.
kidding. I was kidding. There's a new software update every 5 minutes.
I keyed.
What did they do? What the fuck did they do with the iPhone update where now all the controls of FaceTime are at the top?
Listen. I have been denying iPhone updates for like 3 years. I have no idea what the new feature is. I just don't want it. I don't want it.
I have a 4-year-old iPhone. My wife keeps telling me I need a new phone.
Taylor's iPhone, literally, Taylor fucking in the biggest rock band in the world, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he still has the button iPhone.
Oh my God! What, like the 8 or the 7 or the 6?
Up to 13 now. Buddy.
It's so great, and I love that because Taylor is. I tell you this all the time.
White trash.
One of the things I love about Taylor so much, and I think all three of us, if you guys don't mind me saying, is that all three of us are just so unapologetically who we are. Like it's almost like
I have to apologize every day to my wife.
Well, apart from that, unapologetically who we are. And I love that about Taylor. He doesn't give a shit about that stuff. It's like a phone works, so you get a phone call, I don't need to update it. Whereas I've got every update and I get confused every month just like everybody else in the world.
Yep.
But seriously, I know we're here to talk about NHC, but the main question is, why on earth would you put the FaceTime controls at the top? So when you are accessing the controls, you're covering the frame of the person you're looking at. It makes no sense.
I didn't do date, but that makes no sense for what you're telling me right now. That makes no sense.
Persnickety, let me say something about Navarro. If the guitar is not intonated, we have a serious problem.
I have a meltdown.
A meltdown. The most gear meltdown person I've ever met in my life.
Am I really?
Love it, dude. He's our musical landscaper.
Well,
he mixes our records. So if he hears one little
oh yeah.
He's got that ear.
Oh yeah. But the mixing process, I'm sitting there with headphones.
Your OCD
and I'm like,
really
nope, I hear digital clipping right there. Go back. But yeah, I'm one of those guitar players, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of guitar players, and they're like, I remember that meme I sent you?
Oh, yeah.
Where they're like, your tone is all in your hands. That's not the way it is for me.
No.
My tone is with all my gear. You know what I mean? That needs to work.
All right, wait. So Dave, you got the gear meltdowns. Does everybody else have a certain meltdown that they have?
Oh, this guy throws some meltdowns that are just world famous.
Yeah, we call it wobbly.
World famous meltdowns.
Things have to be good.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'll put it to you this way. Chris has quit Jane's Addiction about 50 times.
It's kind of true.
And we're not allowed. Not kidding.
That's for sure, actually.
You just can't quit the addiction, I guess,
That's why he can't quit, because he's addicted. John, you're with it today.
It's a new shirt, guys. It's a new shirt. Man, what about Taylor? You got any meltdowns? You have any meltdowns?
I've never seen you melt down.
Nope.
No.
Wow.
Taylor is honestly like what you see of Taylor in public, like his public persona, that's just who he is.
100%.
He's just fucking happy.
Spaz.
He's fucking beautiful. He's fucking friendly. Spaz. No,
I was
he's
thinking
just,
of doing that, taking that from Meatballs and just doing a drum solo over it and just putting it out.
I think
Spaz.
that's art, dude.
I think
It's art.
and we can make a video between that guy walking and then me just spazzing out on the drum.
That's art. You know, and you probably found the one band that you'll never get a chance to ask a question.
Honestly, that's fine. I'm having a great time with you guys.
Hopefully, let's do this for like 3 hours.
Yeah, no, that's great. I would do it the whole time. No problem.
Anybody watching this?
Oh, yeah. We got some fans of yours in the chat. They're happy to see you guys.
Do they get to ask questions, or is it just you and like your?
Oh,
ego?
yeah. They can, if anybody has any questions in the chat, they could always ask me and I'll relay it to you guys. You know?
All about you.
It's all about you, John.
It is, John. It's all about you.
It's all about me today.
Fans.
It's some of the fans.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Very interesting. You dress very beautiful.
But you know, thank you. But
What is that behind you? Is that like a rack of magazines?
yes, you know, we make magazines here sometimes. So this is some of the magazines that we got over here.
Cool.
Got like got this guy over here.
Right. God, I remember when Rolling Stone was like 1.5 inches thick.
Oh my God, huge books.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, well, guys, I mean, kind of dive into the band a little bit. So, considering I feel like you're all associated with such important acts, right? Associated with Jane's Addiction, Foo Fighters, Alanis Morissette back in the day too. What is this band for each of you guys?
Well, so I just a damn great album with Dave Navarro and the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
What's the question, John? We're jackasses.
It's okay. It's okay. I was just wondering, considering you come from so many huge bands like Jane's Addiction, Foo Fighters, Alanis Morissette, Coattail Riders, what is this band to you guys? What is NHC? What is kind of the ethos to you guys of this band?
Probably one of my favorite musical experiences, hands down, in my entire career.
Wow.
And, yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Dude, if you Wikipedia Chris Chaney's discography,
Don't do it.
No, dude. First of all, it'll blow your mind, and second of all, to hear you say that, knowing how much work you've done in the past, really warms my heart. I love you, buddy.
I'm here to warm your heart.
I love you.
You know, I could say is that it really, truly reminds me. We're way better, but reminds me of my bands in high school. Mm-hmm. Three Bros.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just being like little teenage dipshits together, but like getting so into music and listening to records, jamming as much as you can. Mm-hmm. And now we actually have a place where we can do it. We've actually learned how to record decently over the last 35 years. So it's like kind of like of my perfect vision of my high school band.
On the other hand of that question you asked, which is really nice, is that we all have this beautiful experience in this band, which isn't a project. This isn't a side thing. This isn't a super group. This is a band. This is just another band. But what it allows us to do is we get together and we play, and it reinvigorates us. So when Taylor goes back to Foo Fighters, when we go back to Jane's Addiction, we're more committed, we're more excited, we're more spiritually present for those projects. So it really feeds, it's helping us feed our musical souls in every area, not just this area.
It's an interesting point. Everybody, the cool thing about both of our bands is it's pretty open door policy as far as outside projects. You know, there's some bands where you hear like, oh, you can't. I think Metallica at one point, like Jason Newsted had to quit because he wanted to do a side project, whatever that. And I love Metallica, and but they were like that. You know, I remember when Dave first did Queens of the Stone Age, we were all like kind of upset because we thought, well, that's the other team. You know, we're us. We're a team. We're a team. It's just us. It should be all about us. And that after Dave did that, and then the Foos got back together and kind of triumphed through it, actually, and actually made us a better band. That's when I started making records. That's when everyone started making records. They realized that, especially if you do something that has a little bit of music validity, so if you're lucky, then it adds.
If you're gonna do an English accent, you have to be smoking.
Yeah.
Any musical validity, if you're lucky.
And it has to be a classic wood pipe.
I used to
Little
rip off
hat.
Roger
Yeah.
Taylor. You know, when you're making a record, you tend to think it's the seventh wonder of the world, which invariably it isn't. But it could be quite good. Anyways, if anything you do outside of our bands that is good and it's not embarrassing is just good for the band. It's good for our big bands because it just gives more shit for people that are really hardcore fans of Jane's Addiction and really hardcore fans of Europe. Because like when Jane's broke up and they did Porno for Pyros and they did Deconstruction, I had never missed any of those records. I was right there. Because I just wanted to hear where they were going. I had Banyan records by Perkins, you know. Like when Roger Taylor would make a solo record, I mean, that's one of my favorite records of all time. And it's neat when you hear what musicians from a band that you already know what they are like when they interact with that group of musicians. It's neat to hear where they go with other songs and other type situations. And it only just brings things, you know, it's very typical to say, and every person doing a side project says, it's typical to say, really, that, you know, it brings something back to the mothership, as it were. But it really does. I believe it does.
Oh, you have a software update. I'm sorry, John. There's a Mac update. Later, just get rid of this later.
Oh, God. What is it, like 13.9 or something? Jeez.
They're on OS 7, dude.
Oh, OS. They're on 7?
Remember 7?
No, I don't remember anything.
John? How old are you?
How old are you, John?
I'm 27.
Okay, so you don't know. Operating System 7 Macintosh was the system of systems because you could actually go in and trash your preferences and repair things and make things work the way you wanted them to work.
Oh.
You know, it's like, here you go, because I really enjoy it. No, you look great, man.
I know, but we were just playing. We were jamming, man. You know, we're jamming it.
Yeah, that's great.
Want to see where we jam?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, I love it too.
Wait, let me just tell John one last thing.
John,
I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's almost like when Steve Jobs died, God rest his soul, everybody at the company said, great, now we can totally fuck up everything.
It's getting a little apple heavy.
I mean.
I got the other way. Okay. So that's the studio where we record all the shit.
Oh, wow.
That's where I get insanely buff.
Oh, well, I could see that.
Yep. There's a picture of David Lee Roth.
Oh, that's hot.
You know what it says, though?
I want to have sex with Chris Chaney. Here's the douche. I mean, that's a bathroom in Europe. Look at it. I have pictures of Jane's Addiction in my bathroom.
In your bathroom? Wow.
Yeah. That made Dave very comfortable when he first came here.
I'm sure it did.
Comfortable when he was in the bathroom.
Yeah. He could really, get into himself. Okay. Francis, how you doing? Let me turn on the lights.
Oh, wow. So many guitars. Jeez, look at all those guitars.
The guitar fiesta.
Oh, it's heaven in here, man.
Oh, that's beautiful. Are they all intonated for Dave?
No,
I hate
he hates
Oh,
he hates
God.
every single one of these guitars.
No.
There's a couple.
I love the telly.
Loves the telly.
And I love. Oh, look at this! I love this bad boy. This was a gift.
That was an import.
This was a gift from Mr. Steve Vai.
Wow.
Who
Hell yeah.
signed it for me in a beautiful way, and then he had the audacity to write sheet music on it as if I could read this.
Oh my God.
Chris is going to have to teach me what this is.
No problem.
Okay.
It's time, and now I get to brag a little bit about my stuff.
You got to text Steve Vai and ask for the tabs of that.
Steve Vai's really cool.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's a rad dude.
Ooh, what a kick.
He's a beekeeper. Okay, there's that snare drum right here. This recognize that sound.
Give me the computer.
You may recognize the sound.
Hold on, everybody. I'm going to give you a little treat here.
Okay.
All right, there he is. Just fucking go nuts.
Let's play a little band here.
Oh, he's
Just
got
go
the mic.
nuts.
Yeah. This is an Alex Van Halen snare. Come on.
Just do it.
Dude. Dude, the Zoom settings did not like this at all.
No, the Zoom settings are really bad.
Oh, they do not like this. I like it though.
You can just beatbox over what's happening.
So what'll happen is Taylor will record that and say, "Okay, Dave, come up with a guitar part."
Yeah.
All right,
Like, well, all right then.
we're going back so you get less glitch. I know it's a little glitchy when we move around. I'm sorry.
Oh man, this is one of my favorite interviews. Honestly, it's so fun, interactive. I love the tour.
We're interactive kind of guys.
Oh, here we are back on the couch.
Interact. On daily basis.
That was awesome, guy. I really appreciate the tour. Really, it was really awesome to see the space. So I got some questions in the chat from viewers to kind of get into the new music. I really want to talk about the new songs you guys just put out: "Devil That You Know," "Lazy Eyes," of course, the first two singles you put out. Before we get there, though, you kind of mentioned a little bit about Taylor records a drum track and sends it out and like write guitar to this. How do you normally create the songs for NHC? Because it's like such a new project for all of you, and I guess it's kind of like a new collaborative space. So how do you get to it?
Taylor sends a lot of voice memos. He'll have seeds of ideas, and Dave and I usually get those, periodically.
I know city cowboy chords.
Nah.
Well, listen, before we move on, I'm just going to say that both Taylor and Chris are the most talented musicians I know. And one of the things that the public may not know is that Taylor Hawkins is probably one of the most dynamic, incredible musicians, artists, lyricists, prolific songwriter that I've ever met in my life. And his instincts are His instincts are just incredible.
I have horrible gas, though. That's my only problem.
That'll get you laid. but I've never met anybody with just such incredible musical instincts like Taylor.
Yeah.
So when we do write, it's either from a seed that he sends us over an audio clip or a video clip, or Chris comes up with a lot of the bass lines and we write around that. It's just that there's no one way to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that once you have a formula, you lock out so many opportunities, because if you stay within your formula, you're going to miss the magic. I'm back.
One thing about us in a room recording and writing is maybe it's just from doing it for so many years, but we're able to kind of pass off ideas. If someone's playing a part that works great, if it's not the best, it's that cliche, like whatever serves the song kind of wins. And it's such a collaboration that it's not always apparent in other scenarios, but
yeah.
Just like there's no baggage, there's no old things to like sort of like there's no old wounds really necessarily between the three of us, which is just shit that happens when you're in a band for 26 years or 30 years or whatever. And it's not necessarily bad things when it comes to the sort of dynamic of your band or whatever. But
it's weird. Like I've been in a band with Chris now for how many years?
Wow, we started playing. We played since like 2002.
So have we? You and I have never had a falling out.
Never had a fight.
Or issue
no.
ever.
Nope.
Not one. I've not met.
Chaney's had a
Dave-
million issues, but
I've had my.
But I've
share of
never been the.
issues.
I've never.
you've always nursed him back out of the issue.
But I've never been the object of the issue.
I know, but how many times have you nursed him out?
I've
of
nursed him out of
Yeah,
it.
how many? 700.
No, Dave will say to me, "Was I cool, man? Am I uncool? I'll call you on your shit though.
Yeah.
At any moment.
Oh yeah.
No, Dave.
Me? On my shit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, look,
Keep each other in check.
we keep our egos in check, man. That's the thing. Like, one of the things I love about this is that it just feels so tapped into source, so equal, so just like one cosmic oneness that has come down and put itself into three human vessels, but it's still part of the same oneness. I mean, that's really, I hate to get all, hippy-dippy about it, but that's what it feels like. I like that. You know what I mean? In fact, our logo...
I could never even think of saying something like that. That's what
Wait till
I was like,
this is really going to blow your mind.
gnarly.
This is really going to blow your mind. So I don't know if you've seen it, John, but one of our logos is the upside down anchor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You see that? And that represents being tethered to the above. It's not dragging you down and pulling you down. It's actually tethering you to the cosmos and the great oneness. And that's why it's upside down. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I didn't know that. I'm learning
also-
just like you, John.
Also, we all have a major affinity for yacht rocks. And what do yachts have?
Anchors.
Anchors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's an energy circle that flows around
Wow.
here.
That's awesome, guys. I do have a great question by one of our viewers, Jackson. He's asking, I'm curious, if you could bring in any musical artist, alive or dead, to collaborate with, who would you pick?
And with us?
Yeah. With you guys, or you guys even individually?
I've often thought we would be a great backing band for a lot of people's records. I'd love for this band to make like Don Henley's next solo record.
Wow.
Make it like a dark, heavy,
That would be
sort of like, because Don Henley could really get dark.
Mhm.
And I would love to do that. I've actually reached out to him about it before. He said, no, fuck off. But
We actually...
he didn't say fuck off.
we
But
talked about it.
No, we can't, but we actually did do a track for one of our heroes that we can't mention yet. But so
That was cool.
that would have been, when that comes out and you hear that, just remember that's one of the names that I would have picked. And alive or dead, I did get a chance to play with Lou Reed when he was alive, but
We did.
Yeah, both of us did.
Yeah.
But I would love to contribute to anything Lou Reed would do, and I would imagine Freddie Mercury is a big one.
Well, I do think that us as a backing band would be a wrecking crew in a sense for a lot of people.
Mhm.
I mean, because we can kind of move around a lot. So Chaney really being the one who has the wider spectrum, but he drags me and Dave along with him and takes us to places.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's wild. This guy, I gotta tell you,
It's good to
John,
have someone who can read music, understand a Coltrane record. I sure.
because Taylor does what he does, I do what I do, but this guy is the guy that makes it all go and suck together and fucking make sense. It's just the musicality. To anybody out there who has been listening to our songs, I implore you to go back and listen through them and try and just focus on what the bass is doing through each song, because it's incredibly.
That's equally across the board.
Okay, don't do that.
We just literally suck each other's asses the whole time.
Wow. Dude, that's awesome. The music that came out of Sucking Ass is great, though. That's great.
Asses and
Get
somehow
that
the
bass
music
in
just
there.
comes out one way. No, but I swear that didn't happen. But
Ass sucking?
yeah,
No, it doesn't happen. Not that there's anything. We don't judge it. We don't judge it for those who do,
Yeah.
but it doesn't happen here that you know of.
That I know of. Yes. Mhm, mhm. I also actually got a few more questions from viewers right here. First one, kind of on the songwriting topic. How are the lyrics written? Who writes the lyrics? Where do you gain that inspiration for those?
That's this gentleman.
100% Taylor.
100%.
You know, it's funny because we have a song that we haven't 100% finished yet, but I think we're going to finish it for this record, and it's called Funeral Clowns. That funny? But
It's my favorite song we've done.
it's one of my favorite songs we've ever done. I really want it to come out with the next batch, possibly. And we had a piece of music, and it was good, and it was interesting, but the first lyrics I wrote were about, they weren't really about anything. And I find that if I can find a title, then
Subject matter.
Yeah, because we were playing, we're playing an old song of ours, of mine and Chaney's from the Coattail Riders, with a song called Louise.
Yeah.
And like, there's a couple sentences in it that I like, but the whole song lyrically is very sort of, let's say, it's just one of the first songs I ever actually put out as me singing to the public. Sure. And I hear the I was just afraid to write lyrics, so I just kind of wrote little sentences together. I was afraid for them to mean anything. But now I really like to have a really clear idea of what it's about.
Can I share a little bit of the magic? And hypothetically, stuff you're asking a second?
Mm-hmm.
I won't actually do it, I promise. Not until we're off the chat anyway. But there's two things. Sometimes Taylor will sit and he will take something home and he'll work on it and he'll finesse it out and he'll make it perfect. But a lot of the times, the majority of the time, while we're tracking a song, he's in the corner with a scrap of paper just writing stuff out, and he'll write a verse and then he'll grab the mic and sing it without having written the rest of the song, right? And so he'll sing that verse like, okay, cool, I got that. And then he'll go down and he'll write something out. It's like on the spot, boom, 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 which means it's not overthought.
Stream of conscious.
It's stream of conscious. It's authentic, and it fits, and it makes the experience of writing so much more fun, because now that informs the decisions that I make on guitar, because now I know what he's talking about. And the lyrics on this record in particular, I think, are some of your best, because they're all really deeply powerful with multi-tiered meanings and messaging in them, and I'm just like, who the fuck is this guy?
No problems.
Wow.
Yeah, man, I do too. That's why I understand everything you're saying.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Also one of the reasons I work that way is because I also am a firm believer in, if you can record something in one day, it's like you get a prize at the end of the day. So like when we do something, one of my biggest joys is to record something and I think it's pretty good, and then Robert, our engineer, sends it out that night. We listen to it. We've heard it so many times that you're like, your brain's a little swirl. So you go to bed and then you wake up in the morning with the headphones on before the kids wake up from just when you first, and you just listen to it and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that was. It's like a prize.
Yeah, and what's odd about for us is that, I've never had to drive home where I'm like, that was kind of a shitty day. Like every time I leave this studio, I'm psyched about something we got done.
Part of it is the overall musicianship. With equally, everyone here can improvise and play, and a lot of times, once the seed of the idea is flushed out, we start maybe laying it down. It's first takes. Taylor plays the drums a take or two. I get in and we track bass a lot of times because we're set up.
These bastards work on their stuff for like 10 hours each. I get 2 takes and I gotta live with that for the rest of my life.
No, but in all seriousness, it all goes down very, very quickly and effortlessly. And 98% of what we do is, first takes.
Hell yeah! Wow.
Because no, just kidding. We leave stuff too. I mean, another two people to talk about. Really like the music, really interested listeners. John Lou Lusteau, who we just called Lou, he's been the Foo Fighters sort of house engineer for 12 years, whatever. So I made a bunch of records with him. And this time I took him out of the engineer seat, and I wanted him to, because I was like, you're really great he just has this amazing pop culture sensibility. Like,
great music, great music.
But pop culture, like any movie, anything you say, he's there. And that's kind of goes with music in a sense.
You know what I noticed is that doesn't really exist anymore with films and movie lines. Like when we grew up, we had cable, right? So we had on TV, ZTV, then HBO came out.
They would have stripes on, every other movie for a week.
Yeah, because back then it was only like there'd be like 5 movies in rotation, and we'd see them over and over and over again. So like we spend days in this room speaking only in movie lines.
Yeah, in movie quotes.
Quotes from like the 80s and 90s.
And Lou is the master.
He is the king.
He gets the voices too.
And so we had Lou, who really was just sort of he was kind of like the sort of, if there was a Rick Rubin person, that's what Rick Rubin, he would just tell us like, yeah, this is happening. I can look at Lou, and if it's not happening, I just like, okay, it's not happening. And he can really just, we have our few times where we disagree a little bit, but not really very often. It's exactly. You know what I mean?
You haven't had to look too many times.
Exactly. But then there's Robert as well, who's engineer Robert Stevenson, and like he's just one of these young whiz kids. But he really loves the fact that we're coming from an old school place of recording. He loves the fact that we're like, no, don't put the drums, don't slam the drums to the click track or the grid, as they say, and don't fix any vocals, don't fix stuff. Like whatever we can do, and we fly stuff around a little bit sometimes. We use the editing. It's definitely quick, and that's the beautiful thing about working on computers. But the performances themselves, we always try to make sure to maintain that they are actual human performances. And so,
like cutting tape digitally.
Yeah, and Robert really enjoyed that because being sort of a young gunner, he's used to everybody wanting it, the way that most people get it.
Well, also the beautiful thing about Robert Stevenson is that he's a very accomplished and brilliant musician and songwriter in his own right. So what he contributes to the band.
One song he just rewrote for us.
Yeah, he definitely has. And there was a day that we have a track that's coming out soon where Taylor called me and said, hey, why don't we write a song where you just make a bunch of noise and start from there and see what happens. And so I came in and without a guitar, just using pedals, made sounds until we got something that we liked, and we built the song out of that. And then Robert took that and he put his imprint onto it, and it is literally one of my favorite songs that I've ever been a part of. And what Taylor does on that song is fucking next level mind blowing. Like it's great. I can't wait for that.
Dude, that's awesome. I can't wait for the album.
How's it naked?
I don't know.
What do you mean, like emotionally?
Well,
raw?
It's just like, yeah.
Well, you're taking
it's
a
one
chance.
of those songs when I listen to it, I like kind of go, I don't know if I can handle listening to this.
Dude, you're taking a chance, and it's fucking great, man. And that's what music's all about. It's like taking a chance.
No, it's so much fun as a team. It's a good musical team. I think that now, besides keeping on recording, live is going to be important for us to.
Wow. Oh, did you guys? Oh,
all
sorry.
today. And just as a trio, we're really good. We have augmented players live so far, but we know we can play stuff as a trio too. It's really badass. It's got
Totally. And guys, before you go, because I know you gotta go soon, but I got 2 quick things before you go, because I've been getting a lot of requests about these things. Number one, I want to know what you guys are listening to right now. Any kind of up and coming musicians that you're really interested in that you've gotten a chance to listen to.
You froze. John, you froze a little.
I froze.
I don't know. What about you?
I don't think they're up and coming, but Monster Perrine from Colombia, I've been checking them out. They have a great Tiny Desk concert.
Nice. Ooh.
Is everything?
Oh, I think I'm getting some choppiness from you guys on the Wi-Fi end a little bit.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you are.
It's because we're updating the software. I'm sorry.
Yeah, always updating, always working to that next level.
I was saying that I'm the kind of guy that, like, past a certain age, I just kind of stopped paying attention. Like, so right now, we're all going to take part in this benefit December 20th called Above Ground, which is to raise awareness and funds for mental health and put people who can't afford treatment into treatment, because that's a big worldwide problem, especially post-pandemic. But so I have been fine-tuning and listening to Nevermind the Bullets, Here's the Sex Pistols, and Lou Reed's Transformer, because I got to learn those things inside and out.
Wow.
So for me, it's not, I don't really listen to anything new per se, but I really like to go back to old records that I'm familiar with and really just like deep dive into every little crevice and tone and moment. And so that's what I've been doing. Anything new for you?
I mean, I'm always interested in anything Josh Homme puts out. Always. I always think that Josh always has some interesting sounds and an interesting take on rock and roll, and he's always ever changing his style a bit. And so every time Josh puts something out, I'm always one of the first buyers. I'm always interested to hear what Jack White's doing. You know, I don't have a favorite song of his, but I think he's an interesting. The thing I like about that stuff is it's pretty pure rock and roll on a certain level, performance-wise and stuff. Also, a couple of years ago, I really loved Father John Misty. He made a record called Pure Comedy.
Ooh, yeah.
And I thought that was one of the last things I really, really got into. So
performance you did on SNL or Letterman.
Amazing. Yeah, it was on SNL. So yeah, he's great. I like this second record, Dear Mr. Tillman. I think he had a cool video for that. So I'm always interested to hear what he's doing. You know, Randy Carlisle. I'm starting to get to know her a little bit, and she seems like a really, she seems like a hardworking, badass singer.
Yeah.
I hear what she does too. So
totally.
I try. I can't say I listen to like the newer hip hop stuff that much. Really, every once in a while, something or other might turn me on to. Oh, that's good. And rock music right now, I don't really like a lot of it because most of it's slammed to a computer, and it just kind of I don't hear life in that when it's rock and roll. I just don't. It's it's the music. That's that rock music that has been so homogenized by the computer.
Totally. Yeah. Well, yeah.
There's always something around the bend.
Yeah.
There's some Kurt Cobain sitting in some bedroom somewhere, or whoever, some Jimi Hendrix, somebody who's just going to blow our mind with a guitar. I truly have hope for that. I do think that it's possible. Some people say, "Oh, it'll never happen." I've done Andy Watt. It's like, "Oh no, it'll never happen again." I'm like, "No, man. I just gotta believe that there will be."
There will be.
Explosion.
We got to
counteract sort of where we are right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like being in Jane's Addiction from the late 80s, early 90s, like we got to watch that happen.
You guys did it.
Well, we also got to watch Trent Reznor do it. You know what I mean? We got to watch the birth of Nine Inch Nails and watch that fucking become what it became.
We got to watch the birth of Jane's Addiction.
You got to watch the birth of Jane's Addiction?
Listen, here's the thing about Jane's Addiction. I gotta,
Here we go.
Here
we go.
When they came out, it was at a time when, it was rock pop, Warren, Poison, and then Guns N' Roses came out, and I was like, well, that's tough. That's real. They left a few mistakes on the record, and that guy sounds like he's kind of crazy, and some of the lyrics are definitely subversive. So I was like, yeah, okay, there's a little bit of a light for the future. And then Nothing Shockingly came out, and I heard the live one really quickly, but not long enough to really get to digest it. And I went to go see the Grateful Dead, but I didn't actually make it to the park. I didn't make it inside the shows from the parking lot. And I bought some acid. and I had the Jane's Addiction set. It came out, I think, that day, and I just put it in the cassette player and I listened to it like 35 times in a row.
That's really
watching my face melt in front of a mirror.
That's really funny
And
because
it changed my.
Simplify your skincare routine with the Easy Basics Sonic Cleaning Brush. Made of an ultra-hygienic soft silicone, it utilizes upgraded sonic technology to clean dirt and oil from the skin with minimal effort. With 5 speed settings, you can adjust to your comfort level. Cleansing just takes a minute. Plus, it's easy to clean the brush and charge it wirelessly with the included induction charger. Easy Basics Sonic Cleaning Brush, available now at Amazon.
I was just blown away by how much my 23andMe reports taught me about my health. And that's why I knew how meaningful this gift would be for my family.
This season, get the most meaningful gift for just $99.
Slater Graves. You're a goddess and he's a stallion. Together you could be one fierce centaurus. That's a lady centaur, babe. EOS Lip Balm. Smoothness in a stick.
And then Nothing Shockingly came out. And I heard the live one really quickly, but not long enough to really get to digest it. And I went to go see The Grateful Dead, but I didn't actually make it to the park. I didn't make it inside the shows from the parking lot. And I bought some acid. And I had the Jane's Addiction set. It came out, I think, that day. And I just put it in the cassette player and I listened to it like 35 times in a row.
that's really
Watching my face melt in front of a mirror.
that's really funny
And
because
it changed my life.
what's ironic about that is that drummer of Jane's Addiction, Stephen Perkins, and I, around that in the early 80s, we were huge Grateful Dead heads. We were deadheads. We'd follow them around. We'd travel. We'd be out.
I hear it in your guitar.
Yeah, and so like we would obviously, you know, it was a huge influence on us. So the fact that you heard us for the first time at a Grateful Dead show is pretty psychedelic in itself. You know what I mean? Because it's like there is a cross hybridization.
I mean, I didn't know it then, but now I do.
Yeah.
And but I saw Jane's Addiction at John Anson Ford Theater after they had just been around America slogging their asses off, preaching fucking killing yourselves, slowly killing yourselves. Oh, I can't imagine the 4 of you together.
Basically,
oh my god,
in an Econoline,
dark
with a U-Haul,
so
with
dark.
our gear, sleeping in it.
Were they good times?
I mean, there were good moments, but I don't ever wish I was back there. You know what I mean? Like,
it was heavy, right? And
it was dark.
And
dude.
Jane's Addiction was dark, and that was that first thing. Like, okay, here's some hard rock music. So I like hard rock music, and I still do, and that's what I like to play for the most part, with dynamics and light and shade, like everything. But here's a dark, heavy rock band that it's not glam. It's not. I mean, it was kind of glammy in its own way, but not like that. It was dark, and the subject matter was taboo. And you've never even heard of a band with a name like Jane's Addiction.
Yeah, so like incredibly unique comparatively to a lot of what other bands were doing. But guys, I wanted to. Sorry, I got to stop you, but I wanted to thank you so much for being here today. Truly such a fun conversation. And thank you so much for taking me on the tour of the studio too. And I'm just wishing you guys the best. You got a new music video coming out Friday. You're playing the Troubadour this month, coming up soon.
Sure, yeah, that's going to be our first gig. I mean, we did a set at Ohana Fest, you know, at Eddie Vedder's festival, and he let us play, and that was
awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you, Eddie. But
the interesting thing,
anybody Instagrams this to you, thank you, Eddie, for giving us our first gig. We love you.
And then, but the Troubadour, we're playing the 23rd, and Troubadour is the first venue I ever played.
Wow.
With Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addiction in our high school band called Disaster. So it's
the first place I ever saw a rock show.
Really?
Because I think that was one of the few places where kids could go, right?
Yeah. So
my kids will be there at this show.
It's going to be a fun time, man. We sold out in under 24 hours. So for those of you who get in. We're gonna get some more shows cooking. You guys don't
Hell
worry.
yeah.
Definitely.
But this is just kind of us,
We're just gonna,
breaking out of the egg, so to speak.
we're
You know
gonna
what I
get
mean?
loose. It's gonna be loose and fun and a party, and not get too hung up on perfection, and just kind of ease our way into it in a sort of Stonesy fashion.
I love it because these guys don't get hung up on perfection. And if I miss one note, I want to just like go inside to the darkest place.
That's why I keep saying that, so we can take a little bit of the.
So we can at least
Keep
be,
saying
yeah,
it.
just keep saying it.
Just keep putting that.
Preserve precious.
Don't worry about it.
If you hear a fuck up, we meant to do that because we're experimenting.
That's awesome. Well, again, guys, thank you so much for being here. Good luck with the upcoming shows. Good luck with the upcoming music, and you guys rock. Thank you so much for being here. Bye, y'all. All right, everybody, that was NHC, Dave Navarro, Taylor Hawkins, Chris Chaney.